Welcome back, everyone, to Russound. I'm Brad Page, and I'm here with Joe Dion, and today we're going to take a look at a couple of our Bluetooth options. We sell Bluetooth in a couple of formats or packages. There's the BTC-2X and the BSK-2. And we're going to talk a little bit about where you would use one versus the other and the features and options. So first, let's take a look at this wonderful little box. This is the BTC-2X. And Joe, tell us about the BTC-2X. What can I do with this?
So this was designed to connect to a local amplifier. So if I have, let's say in the living room, I have a receiver or an amplifier that I want to listen to Bluetooth through.
Yeah, maybe you're in your coffee house. You've got an amplifier hooked up, and
Right.
you want to add Bluetooth to it. This is a great way to do that.
And it's very simple in that regard. There's a power connection, right? So you've got your
Power supply comes in the box,
Yep.
connects via USB.
right? And then once that's connected to power, you're going to need to connect audio to your amplifier. So an 1/8" mini
Just
stereo
audio
jack,
output.
right? And then whatever you need on the other side, usually it's a 1/8" mini to a stereo adapter cable that you would
Right.
use to plug that in.
Into your amplifier.
Exactly.
And the key here is that you don't want to be running this 50 feet, 100 feet. This
It's for
is
local
meant to be
usage.
local, right?
That's
so,
right.
6-10 feet, and it's great for that.
Exactly.
Now, you've got some other options on here. You've got a couple of pairing options. Let's talk a little bit about how that works.
Right. So if I want to connect this up to my phone, you can set this there's a little switch on the bottom set for manual or auto.
Right.
So if I put it on auto, it's going to just show up and I can pair to it.
Right. So if you're just using this in your home, that makes it quick and easy to
Exactly.
pair to your devices in your home.
Right.
But maybe if you're in, again, a commercial environment where you don't necessarily want anyone to walk in and be able to pair automatically, you can set this into manual pairing, and then you have a couple of options.
Right.
there.
Then you're hitting the button here. So you
Right.
just tap the pair button. It makes it available
Right.
at that point for pairing, and then it'll show up on your
Right.
device.
And then you also have a remote pairing option. So if you wanted to put, say, a remote switch in the wall or something like that, you could use that.
Yeah,
for
just a
remote pairing.
very, very simple close contact, open close switch. Once you close the contact, it puts this into pairing mode. So it's just a two conductor connection. It does have the other end of this connector in the box.
Right. So you've got your analog out, you've got your power input, and then you've got your couple of options for pairing there. But we also have a RJ45 connector, Cat5 connector on there. And
Right.
that gets us into a whole nother set of options. So let's talk a little bit about that.
So we've explained that on its own, it can be used locally. Power, audio connection, pair, done. Very simple. However, if I have a larger installation where I need to have this locally, but all of my electronics are far away,
Right. So
then you can do a Cat5 connection between this device and this.
Right. So let's say your amplifier is in the basement, but you want to provide a Bluetooth connection in the kitchen or maybe
Right.
on the second floor. You're never going to get a good, reliable connection if you're trying to connect directly to the basement. Right? So
Exactly.
this lets you remotely locate the receiver
Right.
where you run a Cat5 between here and this piece, and this would be in the rack with the rest of your equipment in the basement.
Exactly. And that way you're sending audio signal through the Cat5 undistorted, and it rejects noise and all kinds of other things that would cause a problem with a signal being run over quite a long run. So if you're running a couple hundred feet of audio cable, that's always tricky if it's just a straight audio cable.
Sure.
But the Cat5 connection actually will reject the noise and allow that to be a clean signal.
500 feet.
Yes, so exactly. So you could run up to 500 feet. It's spec'd for that. So that's a very long run.
Right. You can use this in virtually any situation.
Exactly.
Given those options. Let's take a look at the back of this piece, because there's some other cool things you can do with this.
Okay. So first off, that's your Cat5 connection.
Right. So that would go to your receiver.
Exactly. So, and we'll talk about the RNet link a little bit later. So the basic installation, let's say that it's, again, another amplifier that's far away.
Mhm.
You can connect it in a couple different ways. So we have the audio output, right?
Mhm.
So I can plug this audio output into that amplifier.
Mhm.
So that's one option. And then I have an optical connection. So let's say you have a receiver that has a digital input. You could plug that into the digital input if that's something that you want to do.
Sure.
The option is there. So you have both options for audio for output.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah. So the other thing that's kind of cool is, let's say you're limited on how many audio connections you have on the other end. You say, hey, look, I've got an old CD player that I'm going to have to use that input. What am I going to do with my CD player? I've run out of inputs. You could plug that into this, and it will pass it through. When you have your Bluetooth active, it has an automatic switch that will switch between the Bluetooth and your other device.
Right.
So technically, it makes it a two-source capable, switching between the Bluetooth and another source.
And that's a great little thing that I'm not sure if people really realize. We call it an input saver, but the
Right.
idea is that, again, if you got a single channel or a single input amplifier, you've already got something plugged
Right.
in there. You don't have to lose that other piece to use this. You can plug this into your amplifier, plug that other piece, whatever it is, CD players you mentioned, into here, and now you've got two potential sources that you can use.
Exactly.
On that amplifier.
It's
very cool.
Yeah, you could actually think of it this way too. Let's say we've talked about home, but let's say it's like a commercial setting, like maybe a hotel room, and you want your clientele to be able to use Bluetooth in the hotel room, and they always have a TV. So
Right.
so you have a couple of speakers set up with a real basic amplifier. The guests can use the Bluetooth, and then when they're not using the Bluetooth, the audio will pass from here to the amplifier instead. So you can have one connection to the amplifier with a Bluetooth and a television option.
Right. It's great.
It's very cool.
Yeah. Okay, so in our next video, we're going to take a look at how we use these products with the Russound multi-room controller. So come back for that.